Hey there, Arizona here, lead educator at Embodied Self-Defense. So today I'm making a video in response to the news I've been hearing recently about people being spiked in nightclubs by discreet injection. What? That is crazy. What kind of world are we living in where people are spiking each other with injections? I mean, really, like, what twisted mind is going out to a nightclub to do that to someone else? I mean, really, before we even address the what can we do self-defense before, during, and after, let's just actually take a moment to say, like, what is the root cause of this? You know, that is really the problem here. It's not about us, that we need to, be on high alert and be hyper vigilant and stuff like that. Like, let's say, what is going on in the mind of that person? What need for power does that person have that drives them to do that? What is it about our society that makes people desire to have that power over another person? Is it insecurity? Is it a fear of their own vulnerability? I'm not really sure, but we definitely need to be asking that question. Okay, so what can we do about this? I mean, in some respects, let's also acknowledge there might not really be a huge amount that we can do about it. I mean, I actually heard an experience of a person who'd been spiked by injection, and they said they just felt a little scratch, and then next thing was they were super paralytic, and I think maybe the next day they got some tests and it was discovered that they'd been spiked. So I mean, obviously this is in the news now, so we're more aware that a potential feeling of being scratched on a night out could lead to being spiked. But without that information, I mean, who would have associated being scratched with being spiked? I mean, that really is crazy. So again, the usual advice that any, I think, good self-defense educator would offer to people is, number one, about awareness. If you've ever been sitting somewhere, walking down the street, and then suddenly you've been compelled to turn around and you make eye contact with a person who's been looking directly at you. So this is apparently a useful function in nature, like predator versus prey. We can sense, not necessarily consciously, but subconsciously, kind of in our danger receptor sites, we can sometimes sense when a person is focusing their attention on us, and their intention sometimes could be dangerous. Yeah, if we think about it for a second from the perpetrator's perspective, this person is going to choose a target, and then they're going to be watching them to work out what they're doing and find an opportunity to deliver this spike. So here is an opportunity for us to do something. Okay, this person is looking at us a lot. An unusual amount of attention is being placed on us, or maybe one of our friends, someone that we're on a night out with. So first of all, our thing is about awareness, mindful awareness. I know it's hard when we're drunk and stuff or having fun. We're not there to just be like scoping out the place all the time. We're trying to focus on, having fun with our friends and stuff. But let's also bear in mind that some serious stuff can happen if we're not careful. And nightclubs are increasingly becoming a really dangerous place. So it really, really helps us to just be a little bit more aware and a little bit more in tune with our bodies than we would be in a normal, very safe circumstance. So when you're getting that weird feeling, like maybe there's just a bit of a feeling like, oh, that person seems to be looking at us like an awful lot, or looking at me a lot, or, kind of looking at one of my friends a lot, or looking at that person over there who looks a bit vulnerable, looking at them a lot. Let's just first of all validate that. It's okay. I'm picking up on this for a reason. There might be something going on. I don't exactly know what it is right now, but my body's picked up on something. So I'm just going to store that, not ignore that. It's okay. A phrase I say all the time. I'm not just going to dismiss that. I'm going to say, okay, that might be actually some useful body intelligence. So I'm just going to keep that in my mind. And if the situation does progress, for example, I get another signal that that person's maybe looking at us again weirdly, or maybe I get close to them, I start talking to them, and then I just get this really like sticky, like gross feeling on my skin. That would be a couple of indicators for me that this person's just, for me, with all my experience and all the learning that I've done, that for me would probably be enough to say, okay, I'm probably not going to engage with this person. And the second thing that I want to say is about safety in numbers. Okay, so we can do all the awareness that we want, but some people will just be super sneaky. You know, it's a busy environment, you're drunk, you're not in your full, complete awareness self. So, you know, the things can happen, you know, and it's not your fault if that happens. It's a product of the environment and the circumstances. You just got unlucky, you know, all that kind of stuff. But let's also gain some empowerment and feeling of safety from the concept of safety in numbers, okay? If you are out with your friends and then, you know, you start getting all weird, or one of your friends starts getting weird, as in paralytic, you know, really, really crazy drunk, can't tell their name, you know, just really acting out of sorts compared to the level of alcohol that they've consumed, let's stick together, okay? If that's happening for a person, let's get them home, let's get them to a safe place. I might even want to report it to the bouncers at the nightclub, maybe some of the bar staff or something. Just let them know that something's happened, okay? Because again, information, safety in numbers, you know, a lot of the time safety is about a community response more than the individual responsibility. So take advantage of that, you know, let the bouncers know, let your friends know, let the nightclub staff know, let the bar staff know, whatever it is, so that maybe they can prevent that happening to someone else, or maybe they can go back over their CCTV or something, work out what happened. And also as well, you know, almost, it could be even worthwhile before you go on a night out to kind of have a bit of a pact with your friends, you know, guys, you know, we all acknowledge that going to the nightclub is becoming an increasingly unsafe place to go. So, you know, if one of us disappears for a little while and, you know, hasn't really let anyone know that they're going to be away, maybe we can, you know, try phoning them, or maybe we can agree that we're going to try to make contact and not just assume that they've just gone off to go and have fun and do something else and met some other people. Maybe let's have some sort of like rules or guidelines, you know, like if this happens, let's agree that we're going to do this just to make sure, you know, because you wouldn't want to be one of those people who's been spiked and then woken up the next day in a unfamiliar place with zero recollection of what's happened, you know, possibly with some injuries, you know, things missing. That's not a good place to be in. It can be very scary.